What's up, fellas? Happy Wednesday. Chuck Silver and DFS Jayhawk here with Occupy Fantasy. Bring you some DFS strategy for DraftKings and FanDuel. We have another interesting slate. Once again, I'm going to let you know. I think the best advice I can give you is to just lighten, play less because it's really difficult. Jayhawk, how we doing today?
Yeah, man. Kind of late season NBA here. Lots to talk about, so pretty excited to break this one down.
Yeah, Heath, Ben, HB, Luke, just stack Wolves and Spurs tonight. Pretty much. I'm just going to flash the top ownership today. So Bones, Nas, Kyle Anderson was showing up a ton for me, more on FanDuel. And then, yeah, Spurs, we got Dylan Harper as one of the top plays of the day, so we'll get into that. Yeah, I took down the, I just told you guys to play less because it's really hard. I took down the pick and roll last night. I was talking to Jayhawk about it. There wasn't like a random, not an NBA player in the lineup, right? Like Julian Reese is kind of an NBA player now, but for the most part, it was just a normal lineup. So I think that had more to do with it that just random player didn't super go off last night. Like all the guys that were chalk ended up doing pretty well. Jordan Poole was the key. Unicorn and Hot Billy, Jayhawk Militia. We love it. So we have a lot to get into. It's really hard with all the injury stuff and playoff implications. If you guys think that we're not aware of something or if we say something just wrong, can you please let us know in the chat? But Jayhawk, we're going to jump into this first game. Let's do the Timberwolves Magic first, since we're going to have a ton of ownership there. I just wanted to tell you guys. So Ant Edwards is out, Mike Conley's out, Rudy Gobert's out, Io DeSunmu's out, and Julius Randle's out. And then did we get confirmation that Jaden McDaniels is in, or is he still questionable?
Yeah, he's confirmed it.
Okay, so I don't understand. What do you think they're going to do with him? We have him projected for 30 minutes. If we think that he plays actually 30 minutes, he shouldn't come in at 2 and 5% owned, and he'd actually, to me, be one of the better plays on the slate if he's not going to be chalk. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure, better than the model has him here in the ownership. So I think I want to bump him a good chunk. We both kind of like touched on if this game does blow out, maybe he gets limited, but assuming it is close here, I think he looks pretty good.
Yeah, and then I mentioned Kyle Anderson. He's showing up as a really strong value play on DraftKings. I mentioned I was getting more on FanDuel, even with that price difference. He's higher owned over there. Maybe it's positions. I didn't dive into it too much. Kyle Anderson, only power forward center over on DraftKings. And then Nas Reed, I got to assume that he starts here with no Randall or Gobert, projected for 50% ownership. Are you going to be comfortable going in on Nas Reed?
I think so, Chuck. Typically without Gobert, he's been really good, and then obviously no Randall. So I'm probably going to be overweight to this 50%. How about you?
I think I'm going to be. Yeah, just I mentioned it yesterday. I think he was a really strong play because he was pretty low owned. I don't know if he actually did it, probably not. But today, projected for 31 minutes, like what's the proper price that Nas Reed should be if we knew all those guys were going to be out before this slate was like put out there, right? 7K, maybe more.
Yeah, I'd say at least like 6.5K at the least.
Like I feel like if Nas Reed was 7,500, I'd still be wanting to play some of him today. So we're getting a really good price discount on him. And then the other big guy I think we got to talk about here, Bones. So it's a pretty big ownership difference between DraftKings and FanDuel. Price difference too. Models giving us Bones is one of the top plays on DraftKings, and he's a good play on FanDuel. How do you feel about him? Do you agree with the model?
Yeah, agree with the model, and it kind of seems like all of Occupy has been on him. I know you have Chuck the last couple slates, so love getting to Bones here aggressively as well.
So we can look at Bones' game log, and he's been fantastic. The thing is, look at these minutes. We have him projected for 30.4 tonight. Minnesota, so what they need for the playoff implications, Minnesota has to win. So I'm trying to figure this out. They're currently in sixth. They need a win to maintain their half game lead over Phoenix to avoid the play in. So they do want to win tonight. I know they rested everyone, and they can probably still have that, like locking up the sixth seed in a game in the future, whatever. I don't know how many games they have left this season, but the point is they still want to win. And Bones, I've talked about it before. He had a higher usage rate than Nikola Jokic when he was on the Nuggets. So this is like the kind of the situation that Bones is just going to take over. I think he's a fantastic play, even at 6,300 on FanDuel, and I'm going to be pretty excited if he actually comes in as low as 18% owned.
Yeah, I mean definitely like price jump there between both sides, but you mentioned it, his usage rate is off the charts, so like him on both sides here.
And then usually wouldn't feel the need to get into everyone else, especially since none of them are like super owned. But I think we have to like take shots on a bunch of these guys: Joan Behringer, Terrence Shannon, Jalen Clark, Dante DiVincenzo, and Julian Phillips. Do you have any? Maybe not Julian Phillips, but do you have any insight into any of those guys?
Yeah, I think it's like tougher with the rest of these guys. My first like hunch was to Terrence Shannon here, 3K flat, especially if he starts for any reason. I think he's going to look pretty good. Behringer, I think he's okay, but I would rather get to Shannon for me. How about you?
It's a tough one. Yeah, the model's giving us both of them as very strong plays over on DraftKings. On FanDuel, Behringer looks playable, but he's center only, so that's kind of a tough one. And then on for Terrence Shannon on FanDuel, the value score is just not quite there, but he's still pulling a little bit of ownership, just that min price on DraftKings. And then it's even more so if you think that Jaden McDaniels doesn't play this full run of minutes tonight. Like, it's really weird that he's playing at all. So I kind of lean towards he just plays. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be over this 2 and 5%. But if you think that he's not going to play that many minutes, maybe it's just like let him play the 20 minutes. I don't know what he has to qualify for. I feel like he's played every game this season. Uh, but if you think he plays less minutes, you have to give a few more minutes to guys like Terrence Shannon and Jalen Clark. And then I guess the same thing applies to Dante, too. If you think his regular minutes are like he's going to play regular minutes with this team, then he should be much higher owned than the 6 and 14%.
Yeah, great analysis there. I think that makes a lot of sense if he is limited.
Yeah, I'm not sure which direction I'm going to swing. I feel more comfortable getting to Jaden than Dante, but they're both pretty much in the same situation. So I'll just leave it at Nas Reed and Bones are going to be the top two options here. And then Kyle Anderson is a really easy like building block. I'm assuming he starts.
Yeah, I'm with you. Those are my favorite three as well.
We'll go to the other side of this game, Orlando. They're currently in eighth. They're tied with Philadelphia and Charlotte in the loss column. They have to win if they want to have a chance to be the 7 or 8 seed so that they have two chances in the play-in. So we're playing a ton of Wolves. How much Orlando were you getting?
Yeah, not too much here, Chuck. I do want to get more, but it's just kind of tougher to on a slate where we have Jokic and Denny later. So I think like any of these guys are fine to take stabs at. My preference was Paulo here, just in tournaments, but that's about it. How do you feel about Suggs in Orlando here?
Suggs is usually the guy I've been pretty interested in lately, and the model likes him the most by far. I guess not by far, but Wendell Carter doesn't really count. So on DraftKings at 6,600, 10%. I think we got to get over the field a little bit there. And then on FanDuel at 7,400, the model still really likes him for value. And it's only somehow a 10.5 point spread. The Magic have been pretty terrible recently. So even with Minnesota missing half their team, yeah, I think Suggs is still a pretty good shot. And then Paolo's kind of just that ceiling shot I don't mind taking shots on, but I'm not super interested in anyone here. They're mostly healthy. I think Jonathan Isaac's really the only one that's significant that's not going to play tonight.
Yeah, pretty much fully healthy here for the Magic.
Let me just double check if I was getting tournament shots on anyone. No, a couple percent on Wendell Carter too, but model, I talk about it every single time he's on the slate. Model loves him. 5,100 on DraftKings is fine to take a shot on.
Yeah, definitely a model darling there, Chuck, with Wendell.
Let's see. With the Cavs hat, I didn't have a hat for anyone else playing today. Don't forget about Joe Ingles. He's rested up. Is he on the Timberwolves still?
I can tell you.
He could be on either of these teams we just talked about. He could have been on the Magic too. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
I know, Jingles.
McDaniels has missed 6 games. You think his minutes would be limited? I think he just doesn't play, and so I think it's kind of bizarre they're playing him at all.
Yeah, definitely worried about him tonight.
We will talk about this Hawks Cleveland game next. Let me see what this comment is. You want to stock Hawks versus Cavs? CJ back home. Nas been going in. Defense doesn't exist in Cleveland. Dang, dude, just ripping Cleveland. Yeah, I didn't realize. I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker is third overall in threes made this season, and he's shooting like 40%. He's been pretty fantastic. But we're going to start with the Cleveland side here. Cleveland is currently in fourth. I mean, they're not playing for much, but they do want to win at least to keep pressure on the Knicks because the Knicks have the 3rd seed right now, and Cleveland does want to keep the 4th seed at least because they want home court advantage in the first round. So, yeah, they're playing for something. It's only a 3.5 point game, and Atlanta is definitely playing for something because if Atlanta wins, they clinch a playoff spot. They don't have to be in the play-in at all. So both teams want to win here. Max Strus is showing up as a great value play. I think he's another kind of value-ish building block at 2 and 3%. Jared Allen, strong value. Everyone else on the team is showing up so. What was your interest here?
Yeah, just kind of to throw out news. I believe Mitchell should be in. We did get his confirmed tweet that he's playing from his Twitter, so I think Mitchell should be in here. And then in terms of Allen, Strus, I think those are my favorites here as well. Max Strus, I think he's a good contrarian value, top of the model. And then yeah, Mitchell, Mobley, Harden. I don't really have a hunch here between those three.
Mobley is last for me. Just always is going to be when he's closer to 9K and Jared Allen's playing, but I still have a couple percent. It's not a zero. And then Donovan Mitchell, kind of similar to what I said about Paolo. I think he's just a ceiling GPP play. But this game overall, this Cleveland team anyway, feels a little bit under-owned to me, considering how close it is. And it's a pretty good total with both teams playing for something. And a lot of teams are playing for something today, so maybe that's not that big of a deal. But I'd like to get a little bit more overall exposure to these guys. I guess a little more Max Strus, Jared Allen, and Donovan Mitchell. Maybe a little James Harden, although the model's not really into him as much.
Yeah, I'm with it. I think Mitchell is great in tournaments, 2%.
We'll go to the other side, Atlanta. Kongwu with a really strong DraftKings value score. He's coming in as chalk. Model says he's fine. And then CJ coming into Cleveland with strong value scores on both sites at 17%. That's a player I'm happy to get to. I'm pretty much happy to get to all of these guys. I'm always, for some reason, going to be a little more bearish on Dyson, but their whole starting five looks pretty good to me. Does anyone stand out to you more than the rest?
I think I'm with you. I think Onyeka looks great, obviously, at the price point on DK. Even on FanDuel, I'm fine taking stabs there. In terms of the rest of the team, I think Jalen, like, probably is my favorite among the rest. So, like Jalen in tournaments, I'm with you. I think Nall probably a little bit better than Dyson for cheaper, or excuse me, less ownership. But yeah, it's a great team to get to in tournaments, I think.
I agree with you on Na over Dyson. I do have to mention the model prefers Dyson on both sites very slightly, so that's something to keep in mind. A Kongwu. There's no Jock Landale today. We have a Kongwu projected for 33 minutes. Maybe if the game's close, Atlanta wants to win, so maybe they can rest their guys for a game. So maybe a Kongwu gets stretched a little bit because 33 is already a pretty good projection for him. But that's why we're more interested in him today than other days, even though it's a pretty tough matchup going against Cleveland.
Yeah, one last Shire. Did you have any rules in here for Atlanta for like the guards?
Um, I didn't, but now that you mention it, I probably want to just set a rule max two of Dyson, Na, and CJ, but I don't think it's gonna pop up that often anyway, so I guess I'll have to see. But
That's
that's one I would want. I wouldn't want those three in a lineup together.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too, just in case it gave me three of those guys.
Kind of a little awkward if you throw Jalen Johnson in there too. For example, CJ, Non, and Jalen Johnson. I don't think I want that either. I hate to be that restrictive on slates like this, but maybe that's a good one. You only want two of these guys. A Kongwu, I think, would be fine separately because he's a little different situation today. But yeah, maybe you want that rule for these other guys.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Bucks Pistons, it's the last game in this early window, and then we have a couple hours to rest before we have to make more decisions. Not a single player showing up as good value. Jericho Sims is okay. No one's pulling ownership. Dang is still pulling 11% over on FanDuel, but he's down to a single-digit FanDuel value. And some of these guys that the model's calling out with terrible value, after maybe they've been pretty good, their prices coming up, the model's going to miss these guys still go off. But for the most part, I think the model's been pretty good when telling us to fade guys like this. So even though he's 11% owned, it's not that much. I don't really feel the need to play anyone here. Do you feel differently?
Yeah, Chuck. Only 100 team total tonight for the Bucks, and I'm pretty much aligned with the model here. Dieng would be probably my favorite if I had to pick a buck here, but for the most part, I'm staying away from this entire team.
I thought it was just funny that I saw Cormac Ryan is more expensive than Dylan Harper over on FanDuel. Like, what are we doing? But I have zero exposure to this team, and I feel pretty comfortable with it. 21.5 point dogs. Actually didn't even notice that. 223 total against Detroit. Milwaukee obviously isn't playing for anything. Detroit, I think they already clinched the 1 seed. They're not playing for anything either. Yeah. They're just, well, I guess for pride, they're playing for the best overall record in the league. Maybe they can pass OKC, but it doesn't actually mean anything for the playoffs, if you know what I mean. But no one here is really pulling ownership either. Model is giving us Asar and Jalen as playable on DraftKings, and a couple other guys we can take tournament shots on, like Tobias Harris and Duncan Robinson. But are you interested in anyone here?
Yeah, pretty much a fully healthy team now with Cade back in the rotation. So, yeah, I mean, maybe you could take a stab at SR or Duran, but I didn't have any exposure here to these guys.
I have 0% exposure to this team too, and I kind of want to force in a couple percent of Tobias Harris, but it might not even be necessary today. But I think if I was going to take a shot on someone, it would be him. Duran's price is just, it's getting kind of up there, and his minutes have been weird anyway, not even considering the blowout chance. Where's Paul Reed? Is Paul Reed out?
He is.
I don't have him on my list here.
I don't see him out either. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know why Paul Reed's not on here. If somebody knows, let me know.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any news yet, but I'll let you know if that changes.
I think his price is high enough that we don't have to worry about it anyway, but if his price is still low, I might have some interest. Let's see. Is Jokic worth playing tonight? I took Jokic unders pretty aggressively, so I'm hoping not. It's like the biggest spread in NBA history, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's we've seen this game before though. It's the Nuggets, Chuck.
Yeah. Hot Billy, who has something to play for? I'll run down the list real quick so you guys aren't just waiting for every team. Hawks are playing for something. Hawks are playing to clinch the playoffs. Cleveland wants to win so they can have home court in the first round. Timberwolves, they just want to win to maintain the lead over Phoenix to avoid the play-in. Magic want to win so they can be the 7 or 8 seed. And Detroit's locked in. The only reason they'd want to win is to have the best record against OKC. Bucks are eliminated. Nuggets are third. They want to win to hold off the Lakers and Rockets for the 3rd seed. And then the Spurs are locked into the number 2, but losing would officially give number 1 to OKC, so that doesn't matter either. OKC just wants to clinch. The Clippers want to win because they want to stay in the 7-8 seed, so they only have to play, or so they get 2 chances in the play-in. Phoenix wants to win. And that's it. So pretty much everyone not eliminated from the playoffs wants to win today, except maybe Detroit. Sorry if that was confusing. I realized halfway through that was probably super hard to follow. And Isaiah Stewart's back. Yeah, we have him with a single-digit value too. At this price, I'm not going to be interested. Like I said, I'm not getting any exposure here. Maybe I force in a couple percent of Tobias. We'll go to the next game, Jayhawk. Grizzlies and Nuggets, like we were just saying. We'll look at the Nuggets side first. 24-point spread. I think that is the record, but we have a monster total, 247.5. What were your thoughts on fading Jokic? He has one of the highest OF indexes we've seen all season, and the value scores are still crazy at a 35-minute projection.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to how many minutes he plays. We haven't projected for 35, but I mean, if this game is out of hand by the 3rd quarter, I'm with you. We could see less minutes, less upside from Jokic. So I don't hate coming in slightly underweight. The one caveat I will say is if he gets a full run here, he's going to smash the slate most likely. So I'm kind of with you. I got to figure out what I want to do there. I think Jamal Murray is a great pivot as well in tournaments. Assuming Jokic does fail a little bit. So to me, it's Murray and Jokic. That's about it here for me. How about you?
It's just, we have to remember, these model ratings are based on him playing 35 minutes. If he plays less than 35 minutes, reduce this by whatever percentage you reduce the minutes for. And so it's really risky with how expensive he is. We do have some decent value plays and some good mid-range plays, the Wolves guys. So it's not difficult to fit in Jokic today, but I'm with the field right now, and I feel fine about it. If anything, I might get a little bit less. I don't really want to jam him in. I just see no way that the Grizzlies keep this close enough to where Jokic has to play in the 4th quarter. And could he get there through 3 quarters? He could, but his price is so high. He really has to have the best game of the season.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think most likely he doesn't play his last hit, but yeah, I'm with you.
And so that blowout, thing, it kind of scary about everybody else. Jamal Murray's pulling some decent ownership on DraftKings. Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown are showing up as really strong value plays. They're projected for a few less minutes, so I could get to these guys. I don't mind that at their low ownerships. Losing that last rotation would hurt, but it wouldn't hurt as much as Jokic or Jamal losing that last rotation. So I could see shots on them, and then the model's telling us Cameron Johnson's playable on DraftKings too. But overall, I kind of just don't really want to play much here.
Yeah, it's mainly Jokic. I did want to ask you about Bruce Brown. He's coming off a pretty nice game the other night. 3.5K. Did you have any love there?
I have 4%, so I'm not quite with the field, but Yeah, he's the one guy showing up. Like I have a few Jokic, like I mentioned, I'm with the field on Jokic and then
Hmm.
Bruce Brown, and that's it for me. But I'm
Okay.
considering I could see getting to Christian Brown or Aaron Gordon.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
What about from the Memphis side? Do you have the injury report up?
Yes, for Memphis, I did. Let me re-pull it back up here. So we have a bunch of tags here. Omax is doubtful. Clark is out. Spencer is out. GG Jackson out. Wells, KCP out. And we're not going to go through the rest, but pretty much the entire team's out here, Chuck.
Did we get anything on Ryan Rupert?
Ryan Rupert.
My injury report's outdated. That's why
I'm not seeing anything on him yet. Just those other guys.
we have him top of the model. I need confirmation that he's playing though. We've been getting the notification when he's been out though, so hopefully we just get uh, something. But we might not get it before lock. He's showing up as a really strong value play projected for low ownership, but I think we're gonna have enough ownership in the later games that it's not necessary to like save spots for him if he ends up starting and becoming like looking like a good play. I think we can swap him in pretty easily, so I'm not gonna pre-plan for that. Um, but Dariq Whitehead is the guy here I was getting a ton of. He has a pretty strong value score on DraftKings, projected for pretty heavy ownership at 4,200. Um, why are we looking at Dariq Whitehead? Are you interested?
Yeah, Chuck. We were kind of joking pre-stream. Looks like Whitehead, both of our like top play tonight, at least for our ownerships. I think he's pretty solid. 4,200 should play pretty good minutes here. So like him a lot in tournaments and cash games. I did want to ask you, Chuck, between Williamson, Clayton, and then Toby Akani, like all these guys down here, did you have any interest in the rest of Memphis?
I have percents of all of them. Whitehead's really the only one I'm getting like a decent percentage of. The other guys are kind of just mix-ins. But what I was talking about with Denver, their minutes are going to be reduced. Like Memphis, not necessarily. A couple of these guys probably, but someone has to finish the game. So like Okani, yeah, I actually got 2% of him, but the model, he's probably the worst play on the model today, projected for 30 minutes, but he is projected for 30 minutes. So I think we just have to go beyond the model on him because 30 minutes is kind of a lot for, and he's cheap. But Whitehead's my top play. I could see getting to Clayton, but we probably have some better plays. FanDuel probably not playable, but DraftKings 4,400 is fine. Other than that, if you don't get anything else here, I think it's probably okay.
Yeah, I was just thinking like blowout wise, did you have like a projected like five you think that would close in a like super wide spread for Memphis?
Um,
I know it's kind of
I
hard.
it's really hard to even try to guess. Like we could look at the previous closing lineup, but guys are out today. Like we're so interested in Whitehead because there's just no other big men playing for them. Let me see if I can pull this up actually. Who they closed with? Well, they would have closed with Prosper today. It's going to be Whitehead. Uh, Ball, O'Connor were in there. Williamson was in there.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, those four.
Yeah, it looks like. Well, actually, I can just pull up minutes in the fourth quarter because a couple of. It's kind of like Utah, where a couple of these guys are just going to play 12 minutes. So Williamson played 12 minutes, 11:30, whatever. Adama Ball played 11 minutes. Dariq Whitehead played 10 minutes, and Okani played 9 minutes in the fourth quarter in their previous game. So that's probably a pretty good baseline for who's going to play in the fourth. The rest of the minutes were kind of spread out between all the other guys, but they did all get in there.
Yeah, I think that's a good projection there. I think How do you feel about Rupert here? I think he's good if he plays.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's gonna throw on a wrench in these in these like rotations for the fourth quarter, but I have to think he's in that closing group. So if
Yeah.
Rupert plays, I'm gonna like him a lot. And either way, I think we have to go beyond the model for like this whole team. I think it's okay to take shots on like everyone that I just said by name.
Yeah, I think Cedric Howard would probably be my least favorite among all these guys. Yeah,
Rupert's a priority if he's in went God mode last time. Yeah, we're gonna be pretty interested in him, especially if his ownership stays low. I noticed yesterday the late swap guys, like Jordan Poole came in 10% and he was starting. Um, if we get some weird starting lineup later, late swap is you have to late swap today because apparently half the field isn't doing it. And what about Taylor Hendricks? Yeah, he didn't even pop for me at all, so I'm probably just gonna stay away from him today.
yeah, me too. I didn't have any Hendricks here.
We'll go to this next game. We have the Trailblazers and Spurs. This was a little bit interesting. So Portland, they're currently ninth, and if they win, they can still get the eighth seed. It keeps them alive anyway. Which I keep saying, if you're seventh or eighth seed, you get 2 games to try to make the playoffs. If you're the ninth or 10th seed, you lose once and you're done. So Portland, and then the Spurs, they're locked in at number 2, so they're not really playing for much, I guess. But on the Portland side, Tyball's going to show up as top of value. You don't have to jam him in. He's only projected for 8%. Denny's projected for pretty chalk, but I like him. I don't know that I like him this much more than like Paolo and whoever that other pay up we were talking about a couple minutes ago was. But what are you looking at on Portland?
Yeah, Chuck, I think it's mainly Denny here. Point per dollar. I love him. Both sides in a game they need to win here. So love Denny. Outside of him, fine taking stabs at Thibault or Kamara. After those three, pretty much was not getting too much on this team. How about you?
So with Kamara, his price is coming up. I didn't realize what kind of run he's been on lately, though. I think Smitty was kind of hyping him up last week or the week before, but he's been going crazy. Minutes have always been there, and like I said, Portland wants to win tonight, so I got to think these minutes should be pretty good for him. He's projected for 35. At this ownership, I'm taking some shots on him. I guess it's kind of a pivot from Jaden McDaniels, even though McDaniels isn't pulling that much ownership. And then it's really sad. This is one of the players that I key in on when the model likes him, but the model does not like Donovan Clingan today, so I'm not as excited to play him. And a couple percent of Robert Williams. It's probably just salary relief that's needed, though. That power forward eligibility on FanDuel is pretty nice. And I guess, actually, since I'm not as interested in Clingan today, I don't mind getting to a little bit more Robert Williams. Like I said, on FanDuel better.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I prefer Williams too. Clingan just always tough for me to play sub 8K at that price.
Portland feels like they have more of an upside than the Spurs in a better matchup at the same prices. Let's pull up the Spurs scores real quick and compare them. So on the Spurs, wait, take off Portland for a sec. So we're getting Luke Cornett. We're getting a lot of really strong plays. Like Dylan Harper is my top play here, like by far. And then I need to see why Luke Cornett is projected for such low ownership on DraftKings. It's kind of interesting. I have interest in De'Aaron Fox too, but I think they both have pretty good plays. What do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I think Harper's definitely my favorite too, just because I think he probably plays a ton of minutes here. In terms of Fox, were you worried a little bit about potential limited minutes? I know they probably play him normal, but they do have Castle and Wemby resting, so I'm a little bit bullish on Harper, a little bit less bullish on Fox.
It's like the same situation as the other guys. If he actually plays this 30 minutes, then he's a pretty strong play. If he doesn't play the 30 minutes, though, we can get away. I'm getting there, and so I guess I'm just hoping that he plays. It's only a 4-point spread, and I mean, Spurs don't really have much to play for, so I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, he's pretty pivotal for me. Like I don't know what I want to do there.
Because they just, even if they wanted to really sit him, they don't have that many bodies.
Yeah.
So like he would be the top candidate to sit, yeah, over everyone else. Him and Devin Vassell, I think, would sit first, then Julian Champagny. So those would be the three, I guess I'd be a little nervous about. I didn't realize Vassell was already projected for 18% ownership, close to 6K. Model really likes him, though, if he actually gets the 31 minutes. So I think I'm just going to slightly adjust these guys downward, except for Dylan Harper, and that's what I'm going to do.
Did you have any love here for Luke Cornett here? Super chalky on FanDuel.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting him. Yeah, I'm with the field over on FanDuel, so I'm not understanding why he's so low on DraftKings. I didn't play DraftKings today, so maybe lineup building's just a little bit different. Luke Cornett, we had this situation not too long ago, right?
Yes. With 1B out yet.
Luke Cornett's a good play. I'm not seeing any ceiling games here, though. Like 28 at 4,400. Are we happy about that? Because that's his best game of the season.
It's solid. I don't know if you're like jumping for joy for tournament winning upside, but I think it's okay.
So I'll mention, since he's only 5% owned on DraftKings, yeah, he's a good play. Model's telling us we can get over the field, that's fine. But on FanDuel at 22%, I just mentioned him with the field. I think I need to adjust that down. Doesn't feel great. Model super loves him on FanDuel, but I don't know. I think we want to be careful. Just don't jam him in anyway. Maybe I'll stay with the field.
Yeah, I don't love him on BK. Definitely FanDuel preferred.
And then I don't know if we finished up Portland, but I could take tournament shots on Scoot Henderson and Drew Holiday. And then, yeah, Kamara. I've been bearish on him, and the price is kind of annoying, but I think he's actually pretty good if he's only going to be a 11 and 9% on the minutes will be there.
No, I love Kamarchuk. You talked me onto him, and I think he's a great pivot to McDaniel's tournaments.
I hope he works out. Douglas liked Hendricks today. Let's take a closer look. Maybe I just didn't think the minutes could be there because I know Gigi Jackson's out, but with Hendricks, what are we hoping happens? Like, yeah, if he gives us this 34, we'll be pretty psyched about it. But I just think it's such a low whatever outcome.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I don't think the minutes will be strong enough to where he's a guy we should single out from a team where there's a lot of other guys that we can be interested in. I don't hate the idea of the pivot, but seems like the type of athlete that would find offensive success against Jokic. Eh. Spurs' best two defenders are out. Yeah, I don't mind it. Like I said, the Spurs are still a good defensive team, though, even without Wemby and who's their second best defender, Castle?
Yeah, probably Castle.
But no, I think it's still fine. Any interest in Christian Brown? Yeah, like I mentioned, we had him projected for a few less minutes than Jokic and Jamal, and so it's not as it doesn't hurt us as much if they lose that last like 4 or 5 minute rotation. But we are not going to expect them to play in the fourth quarter if this spread is real. So model says that we're taking shots on at 32 minutes. I mean, even if you took away like 4 minutes here, they're still going to have playable value scores. So him and Aaron Gordon, I think, are still okay to take shots on. Are we behind on time? No, we're probably pretty good. 2 games left.
Dean Wade and Mitchell both available for the Cavs.
Okay, cool. OKC and the Clippers. OKC's injury report. Mostly good, right?
Yeah, pretty healthy.
7.5 point favorites against the Clippers. I don't think they were playing for anything, right? I think they need one win or a Spurs loss to clinch number one. So, like, they want to win tonight, but they don't super care. Lou Dort's going to show up as one of those Wendell Carter value plays we don't have to play if we don't want to. I think SGA is fine. I mean, it's a pretty close spread, and the price is good. He hasn't been like the super SGA lately, but I think he's still worth taking shots on, and I could see getting some shots on Chet, Jalen Williams. 6,800 is not a bad price. What do you think about the big three?
Yeah, I actually kind of like these guys in tournaments just because I think this game should be competitive with the Clippers, like really trying to win here. So love SGA in tournaments. Really like that shout. In terms of Jalen Williams, like I don't love him, but if I guess you could take stabs there. It's mainly just SGA here for me, Chuck, but that's about it.
Yeah, SGA, I'm actually a decent amount over this 10%, so I'm pretty comfortable taking that shot, even though model doesn't love it. I think this is a spot we can kind of go beyond because it is a close game. Total 227 is okay. Any interest in anyone else here?
Man, it's always tough. I don't know. Probably not for me if I'm like having to pick one here.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can get to SGA, maybe some shots on Chet if you're playing 150 lineups, but it's hard to want to take shots on anyone else, even Jay will. On the Clipper side of things, how much Kawhi Leonard are you interested in tonight?
Yeah, tougher spot here for Kawhi, I think, overall. I think he's fine. Like, if you're playing that SGA narrative, I think Kawhi's a great run back in this game. So, kind of like pairing them together in tournaments if you like this game. But yeah, I think he's solid. I obviously would rather get to Denny up top for that price. But yeah, mainly just Kawhi. How did you feel about Kawhi and the rest of the team?
I'm with you on rather getting to Denny. I think Kawhi's a pretty nice pivot, though. And you can play him in the same lineup with Denny, too. But I love Kawhi tonight at this ownership. I'm going to be pretty interested. This is how it was written. The Clippers are desperate for a win to stay ahead of Portland. So we'll see. Are you looking at anybody else on the team? Chris Dunn showing up with a good value score. I'm always comfortable taking shots on him.
Yeah, no Garland today, so I think like Dunn or Matherin could spike a ceiling here, keeping it close. So yeah, I think both those guys are fine in tournaments as stabs.
Yeah, I got a ton of Matherin. Why isn't he showing up as a stronger value play? I have him projected a lot stronger than the model does. We have him for 29 minutes, 2 and 12%, 6K on FanDuel. We can take some pretty heavy shots on him, right?
Yeah, especially in non-Kawhi lineups, I think he looks great.
Maybe I take back the heavy part. We don't have to go crazy with it, but we can play Benedict Mathurin despite this poor value rating today. Like it was when Darius started playing that his usage went down a lot. Remember he was on that run and he was playing really heavy minutes and the Clippers want to win. He's their second best player they have available tonight, so if I don't know, I might just give him a couple more minutes actually.
Yeah, for sure. He's like the definition of the upside play too. So if he's hitting the shots, he's going to be out there.
Yeah, I like that as a tournament shot. And last game of the night, I'm glad they gave us all the games today.
No.
We have Dallas and the Suns. There's something going on here. So Dallas is eliminated, and Phoenix is currently seventh. They want to win. Yeah, they want to win because they can still compete for the sixth seed and avoid the play-in if Minnesota loses. Um, so, wait, that was Phoenix? Yeah, that was Phoenix. Let's start with Phoenix. Sorry. No one's really pulling heavy ownership. Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker, 13 and 15%. We're getting Jordan Goodwin as a strong low-owned value play on DraftKings. Jalen Green tournament shot. I guess Oso on DraftKings tournament shot. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on Goodwin, man. Good DK value score here. I think he looks pretty good in tournaments as a pivot to some of these other value guards. After that, like Booker, I don't love tonight up top. Jalen Green's just been not that good at his price. So to me, it's mainly Goodwin, maybe Oso. Yeah, that's about it here for me.
Yep, I agree. Yep, same page. On the Dallas side, Cooper Flag, man, 10,400, and we're still playing him 37% of our lineups. What do you think about that?
So I will say I do like Cooper Flag as a player, but 10K Cooper Flag on a slate where we have a lot of spend ups is kind of like interesting to me. I'm currently underweight to Cooper Flag at these current ownerships. I would rather get to Nimhard for super cheap. I even think like a Musa Sisse at 3K I would be fine getting to. So under on Flag, kind of like the rest of the team here though. How about you?
I didn't see an update. I just saw when these guys got listed doubtful. I'm assuming they're none of them are going to play. PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Clay Thompson, Caleb Martin, and Brandon Williams all doubtful. So I think we already got him out of here. So just so you guys know, yeah, Flag. I don't know. I'm playing a bit. I hate it, but his usage has been sky high, and he's actually been pretty good. He had that one terrible game a couple nights ago. I think that might have been on the night slate though, so maybe most people missed it. What position does Cooper? Why is he only a point guard on DraftKings? Um, yeah, I guess, and 41. Like that was his bad game, right? The thing is, right now, it feels like he really wants to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to be going for stats. Him and Connor. I mean, I think it's Cooper Flag, and you guys know how I felt about Cooper Flag before, but he still probably needs to convince some voters since he missed some time. I feel like he's just going to come out swinging, so I'm comfortable taking Flag. It's just a matter of like Phoenix is not a slouch on defense; they're pretty good, and so it's what are they going to let Cooper Flag do? I guess.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I'm a little bit scared of that ownership though. Like against the Lakers, that was obviously a very good matchup. I think it should be a little bit tougher here against Phoenix.
And then I'll mention tournament shots on Marvin Bagley, center only at this price. Because no, did I say no Gafford? Is that part of what I said? Yeah,
Yeah,
Gafford too. Um, yeah, at this price, this is probably a pretty heavy core piece over on DraftKings at 4,200.
yeah. Did you have any interest in Musa Sisse as like a backup center player, 3K flat?
Interesting. Interesting. Model's telling us he's a pretty good one over on DraftKings at the min 3K at 2% owned. Yeah, I think we should have interest in this guy. Didn't realize he had a couple big games.
Yeah, and he's super cheap, so he doesn't need to do much.
It's really high risk. It just, between him and Bagley, the price difference is let me sort this here. So Sisse is actually showing up with a barely better DK value than Bagley. Bagley's only 1,200 more. It's like, despite what the model says, Bagley is going to be the safer play, right? Assuming he's starting. And then, because Dwight Powell is still in the mix too, and the model is actually giving us Dwight Powell as the top center value on this team, projected for 3% ownership. So model's saying him over Cisse, but I don't know. It's a little deep for me. I don't think I'm going to get to either of these guys, but I'm also not on DraftKings today, so I'm not sure. Maybe I would get a couple percent.
Yeah, I think I'm fine taking stabs at these guys, especially if we're a little bit lower on Jokic. Maybe it allows us to spend up for other guys.
Oh, and Doug wants to take some shots on Tyler Smith. Let's take a look at let's game log watch Tyler Smith, see what he's been doing. 18 minutes, 20 minutes, 18. So it's tough. There's no minute ceiling here, and it doesn't look like he's the worst fantasy producer, but we need potential for him to play like at least mid 20s minutes if we're gonna play him over other possible min price guys like even Cisse. Yeah, like because I said, Bagley's only 1,200 more, and then Dwight Powell, like he's not great either, but he's 300 more, and at least we have an idea he's gonna play a couple more minutes. We just got them. All right, Jayhawk, who are your first players in the dummy today?
Man, I think it's probably definitely Bones Highland and then
Okay.
probably Whitehead as well. I think we
Yep.
agree.
Let's do it. Whitehead. Someone mentioned Whitehead. Tariq Whitehead was signing with Utah. Are they brothers?
Maybe. Let me see.
They have to be. Who else you got?
I like Nas Reed. I don't know if he's.
Oh yeah.
I think probably.
Oh, we're putting him in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming he's starting, he's got to be one of the top plays. It's tough. Forward spots again. It seems like last few days we've been crowding up forwards. A lot of good value forwards. Did we want to try to sneak a pay up, or we want to get a couple more mid range guys and see where we're at?
I think we could do a spend up if you want to. I also liked a lot of those Atlanta pieces. Like I thought a Kongwu was good.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at that. So Atlanta, put a Kongwu at center, move Nas Reed to forward. Who else on Atlanta did you want to throw in here?
I think we could probably go nickel in tournaments. I think CJ's fine. I guess there's no one like I think's a must besides like a Kongwu.
Yeah, CJ or Nah, would one of these two would be my choice. Let's do CJ for now since he's a little bit cheaper. Let's
Okay.
see, maybe we have some salary left. Like we have 7,700 for 3 positions. We were talking about Denny was probably the chalk pay up. Someone mentioned the Spurs are down a couple defenders, so and they desperately want to win too. So you want to slide Denny in there?
Yeah, Denny, and then I think probably Harper to run it back. I mean, we both
Yes,
need Harper.
yes. Dylan Harper. I feel like there was another player that's supposed to be a lot higher owned that we missed.
Yeah, I think.
Well, let's round out this one. We have 8,700 for utility. That lets us get to Mobley, Duran, Jamal. Nothing great. We're going to have to rebuild something here. What are we swapping around? CJ?
Probably CJ.
Let's put in Nah. Now we only have 7,800. Still no one that we want to play at this price. Interesting.
Just trying to look at shooting guard here. It's kind of a bad position today.
Let's take Nah out. Don't want to target. Well, I mean, we can, but it's hard to target more than a couple guys against Cleveland, I guess. Cleveland's good on D. Someone mentioned they're bad on D now. Maybe they are. Kamara, 5,900. Like Kamara, McCollum. Oh, this is like basically what we just tried, actually. It didn't work.
Yeah, I like Kamara.
Let's just get to James Harden at least, 8,800. Does anyone in the chat have an idea? Ryan Rupert? Yeah, if Ryan Rupert starts. All right, let's try. It's just so I think the harder thing, not deciding who else to put in, it's who do we take out from here? Like Whitehead, Reed, Okongwu, Obdia. Because to me, Harper and assuming Bones Highland starts, those are like two guys that it's probably going to be pretty hard for me to take out of my like single entry.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Highland, Harper, Reed, Whitehead, probably the core four for me there as well.
I don't want to get away from Denny though. Model loves him. He's chalk though. Maybe we can try a build without Denny since he's kind of chalky. Just look at the model, I guess.
Yeah, I was trying to look at cheap shooting guards because there's got to be someone.
It's Ryan Rupert. Well, Ryan Rupert's small forward on DraftKings. Like we threw out Suggs as a possible value play. Not value play, but 6,600. He's value priced anyway. Kamara, like that 6K range of guards, Kamara, CJ, McCollum, like Bones is 1,000 less, Max Strus is 5K. There's a lot of those mid-range guards too, so consider paying up for a guard. Maybe you have a slightly different, maybe that's like something with playing a little more SGA even.
Yeah, I guess we missed on, someone mentioned Jokic. Obviously, if you want to get to Jokic, you can always do that too.
I mean, this one's kind of cool. Mathurin and McDaniels. We have 600 left. You're gonna have to figure out a way to spend that extra 600. The problem with fitting in Jokic, just gonna run this real quick, Jayhawk, then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, no worries.
Like, let's try running this with Jokic, and then Luke Cornett was that value center not really showing up. I kind of get why he's so low owned on DraftKings now after running a lineup here, but we'll do Luke Cornett. Oh, that actually fits perfect. Wow. Well,
Yeah,
there you go. That's the Jokic lineup right here.
I like it.
If you're going to swap someone around, it would be McDaniels and Mathurin. And so there's actually a lot you can do with this salary in these two positions. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Dang, if there was 100 more for Kamara, that would be a pretty good one too. So Dunn or Nemhard? I'm pretty sure the model was pretty easily Dunn over Nemhard, and my personal preference is always going to be Dunn over Nemhard too. Yeah, but model's actually tied, and saying Nemhard on FanDuel. Oh, the price difference on FanDuel. Oh gosh, I didn't notice Nemhard was that owned. That's awkward. He didn't start yesterday. Is the industry expecting Nemhard to start today?
I think so. Typically, he has started. So I think so. Yeah.
He came off the bench yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I think he might have closed though in the blowout. I guess it wasn't a blowout. One of these teams gave up kind of early. Dallas did, and Nemhard did close. We should expect these minutes either way. That's awkward. My first instinct is he's overowned. Nemhard, he's a good play, but not 40% good, and not 36% good. Go ahead.
I agree. That seems a little bit high for sure. I'm with you.
If Rupert starts, would I play him over Whitehead?
I like them both.
Yeah, I think I'd like both. I don't know. If you can get away from Whitehead, that's probably the guy I'd get away from. He's only done it a couple games recently. Just we have a lot of other options. What's his ceiling really versus the other guys? Because we're pretty confident he's going to get us that floor game at least, right? And so,
yeah. I think both of them should play through blowout. So I think their ceilings are both pretty good.
yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one though, I'll be safe. And model says Rupert over Whitehead on DraftKings, and then it says it's not even close on FanDuel. It's Rupert.
And one last thing, Jeff, before we bounce out of here. Bones is not starting. Did we expect that?
I thought he had a chance to start, yeah. I'm probably still going to play him a ton. I don't think I care.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The only problem is I was talking about he hadn't played as many minutes as I thought he'd been when he's been going off. And so I was hoping he was going to start because that would mean that his minutes are a little bit more locked in. Because how does he not play 30 minutes today? They don't have IO, right? So if he's still going to play close to 30 minutes off the bench, I still think he's a great play. And if it somehow lowers his ownership a little, I think that's actually good if we want to play him. So I'm still in. Maybe not 100 like I was going to play before.
No, I'm with you, Chuck. And Joe Ingles, I think this is probably just a spot start for him. So love Bones off the bench. So
I mean, yeah, Joe Ingles hasn't been playable in fantasy since COVID. So
yeah.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. I believe Nick's leading the Discord today. If you guys want to see the model updates later, make sure you sign up for the site. We have plans starting at as little as $7 a week. It's $1 a day. It's pretty good deal. Gets you access to the model and the plug. And we got some pretty good the Masters info up this week for if you play PGA. So definitely check that out. We appreciate you guys. Good luck tonight.